In this video, I'm going to show you how to make an SVG file a gradient for use with Cricut Explore machines with the print then cut feature. So this is what I made earlier, and that's what I'm going to show you how to do. So first thing you want to do is make a square or a rectangle or any shape. You could use a star. But for this purpose, because I'm going to be putting a name and a butterfly in it, I'm going to just go ahead and make a rectangle or square. Okay, then I'm going to select it. I'm going to open up my fill and stroke panel, and I'm going to click on this button right here that says linear gradient. Okay, now I'm going to go down to my toolbar and choose my gradient. Okay, if you don't see it, which looks like a line with these things on the end of it. If you don't see that here, then you have to click on these two little double arrows and choose gradient. Okay, once you do that, you have your options up here. All right, so if I select this stop, then I get my color options over here in my fill and stroke panel. Okay, now to add a stop, so I can add another color, I'm going to click on this here. I'm going to go to this plus, and what it's going to do is it's going to put another stop in between the two. It's going to put it to the right in between the next two. Does that make sense? Okay, so if I click on this again and hit plus, it's going to give me one in between these two. If I click on this one and hit plus, it's going to give me one in between these two. Okay, so now we have 4 stops, and we're going to just go ahead and change the colors. You just click on where you want the color to change, what color you want it to be. And you can play around with all of these. You can make your opacity 100%. You can have it less than that. I'm going to go to my color wheel. I'm going to choose a different blue. I'll go back to RGB, and now you can grab this stop here and you can pull it out. You can have it go sideways if you want. You can have it go, here, let me zoom out. You can have it go this way if you wanted, but what you'd have to do is stretch these out. Okay, you can move all of these around until you get the colors where you want them. I think I'm going to actually change this one to that color, and then I will stretch this out, and I'll move the blue back a little bit, and then I'm going to put the opacity back up. Okay, now I'm going to go to my stops, and I'm going to make sure that my opacity is 100% on all of them. If they're not, you'll see a little checkered box on the side here. Okay, I'm going to try to straighten this up a little bit. It's not straight. There we go. I actually don't want it this way. I wanted it the other way, but I'm going to select it, and then I'm going to rotate it, and then I'm going to stretch it out. Okay, now I can go back to my gradient, and choose linear gradient, and then I can adjust these however I want. So you just play around with it. Make sure that your opacity is 100%. You can check that here. You can change the brightness of the colors. You can change the colors. That's how you do that. Okay, so now let's type my name or your name. And we'll choose kind of a thick font. All right, now I'm going to select all of this and I'm going to right click and duplicate. And the reason I'm doing that is what you would want to do is just select your name and right click and duplicate. Actually, let's delete that because I forgot to do something. Go to Path, Object Path with your name selected, ungroup it, which is Object Ungroup, and then Path Union. All right, and then right click and duplicate it. And I'll show you why in a minute. Okay, so now we want to select these two and we want to go to Object, Clip, Set. And there you have it. Okay, now to make a shadow layer for it, and I'll show you why in Design Space in a moment, you can select both of these, open up your Align and Distribute with these 3 bars here, and click on your center on vertical axis and center on horizontal axis. Now deselect everything by clicking off or clicking on this button right here and select your top layer and lower that to the bottom. And then what you're going to do is go to Path, Linked Offset, and grab that little square and pull it upwards until you get an offset that you're happy with it, whether it be this thick or, you know, however thick. All right, now what you do is go Path Object to Path and then Selection Tool and raise it to the top to make sure there's no holes in there. You can choose your node editor, and as you can see, I have a little tiny hole here. So I'll left click and drag a box around it, which you can't see the box, but it highlights the nodes, and hit delete. I'm going to do that for this one. I'm going to do that for this one. That's just something that is not needed to be cut. Now I'm going to go back to my selection tool and I'm going to lower that to the bottom. Now, this is important. For your offset, if you want it a certain color, like let's say hot pink or an orange, then turn that color now. If you don't and but you want, let me turn that back, but you want the machine to cut it out for you, you need to turn it white, okay? And this is going to be for dark transfer, the StarCraft dark transfer sheets, because then you will have the white. But if you're using it for the light colored, then it will just cut around that offset, okay? It's going to print your gradient, but it's going to cut around here, okay? That way you don't have to cut it with scissors before you apply it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and turn that white. I'm going to select them both, and I'm going to go to File, Export PNG Image. I'm going to make sure I have selection selected because I don't want to export all of this. I just want to export these two, and export as. And then I'm going to choose a destination and give it a name, and I'm going to click Save. And I'm going to go back over here and click Export. If you do not click Export and you close Inkscape out, your design is gone. So it's very important that you not only export as, but you then export. Okay, so now let's go over to Design Space and let's upload that image. What did I name it? Name, of course. Okay. Now I'm going to save it as a complex image because it is a gradient. Click continue. I shouldn't have any cleanup. Click continue. And I'm going to save as a print then cut. Make sure you have that green box around your print then cut. You can give it a different name. You can tag it however you want to do it. And click continue. And there it is. Now, when I open it, I'm not going to have 2 layers. I'm only going to have the 1 layer. So when I go to make it, what it's going to do is print this out, but it is also going to, let me cancel. You can see, if I zoom in, you can't really see it on the cut screen, but you can see that my white offset is there because you can't see the checks for the grid behind it. Let me change this to the larger grid. Well, I'm zoomed in too far, it won't let me, but it is there, okay? So that's that. Let's go back over to Inkscape, and now I'm going to use the same gradient, but you can make another one if you want. I'm going to actually condense this a little bit, and I'm going to put my butterfly here, raise it to the top, hold my control key, and stretch it out. Now, if you have a butterfly that has all the holes in it, you could fill those with white and make it 1 layer, and then you could fill that with the gradient, and that would be pretty cool. I just thought of that. Otherwise, I would have imported one that did have it. But anyway, so this is my path. Okay, it's my vector image, and then this is my gradient. It says rectangle because that's what I made the gradient out of. Now I'm going to draw a box, left click and draw a box around both of them. Go to Object, Clip, Set. Okay, so now you have a gradient butterfly. The thing is, even though it was a path, when I did Object, Clip, Set, it turned this into a rectangle. So unfortunately, you can't put a shadow layer behind it. But if you take this, let's select it, open your export PNG, make sure selection. Let's export as, I'm going to just name it B, and I'm going to click Save and Export, and go back over to Design Space and upload image, upload, browse, B, open, complex, continue, continue, print and cut, save, and insert images. Okay, I had to pause the video because my dog started barking. So I deleted my name that was behind this. Now, if you look in your layers panel, you'll see that it's set to print. So if I go to make it, this is what it's going to print, and then it will cut around the image. Okay, so that is how you can make a gradient, first of all, in Inkscape, and then you can take it into Design Space and have Design Space cut it for you. Now, you can offset this name without doing like a linked offset. That would be kind of cool too. You know, the possibilities are endless, honestly. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I can't wait to see what you guys come up with. Thanks for watching, and